This is a Jmix exclusive.
That's honestly a great answer. Thank you. What do you think people's biggest misconception is about Death Row Records? I know that hear the stories. What do you think that people get wrong the most when it comes to Death Row?
Probably that it was just all about ridiculous gangster shit, like just dumb stuff, like feuds and all of that. So I think those are the stories that people want to hear, but they don't want to hear the fact that really everyone who was up there was into making great music. They were into making a great name for themselves in a position, an opportunity that presented itself where people could really become legendary, you know? And I think that people didn't understand the work ethic of some of these guys, you know? Like, you would just think that they're in there screwing around, they're in there just partying, drinking, and throwing something together, and next thing you know, it was like a big song just because people just like that kind of stuff. And I think that wasn't the case, you know? Their work ethic, I learned from them. That, to me, was the most incredible thing about the guys, Daz and Corrupt and Snoop and Pac, and those guys their work ethic was sick. Even if the day the Dog Food came out, I was expecting Daz and Corrupt to be in Hawaii somewhere or at a club or something. It's something fun. Go enjoy your release of your album. I would think, hey, we did that. I got a #1 album coming out. It's going to be tight. I can kick back for a second. But that's not what they did. And that's what really blew me away at that point, was that they worked so hard. Daz was in the studio the day Dog Food came out. He was making a new song. We both were. We were both in there. And to me, going through my mind was like, really? This guy's working on the day his album's coming out. #1, huge. I just thought that was amazing. So I guess, to me, I think that the biggest misconception was that they were just a bunch of foolish rappers in there just screwing around and throwing stuff together, and all of a sudden it was something. No. They worked very, very hard, and were really focused at getting where they wanted to get with this. And it wasn't by accident that it just happened. It was, through hard work, determination, and seeing things clearly. Seeing what the people were looking for, seeing what was going to hit right then. I think there's a clear vision of anything makes things more successful if you have a clear vision of what you're doing. And I think that probably is the biggest misconception. I think that their work ethic was just exemplary. It's to be, it's to be like admired and try to emulate that. I would teach that in college or something, that kind of work ethic, because you just don't find that everywhere. That's what I liked. That's what I liked about the whole situation the most. Everybody's so ambitious trying to get to a certain point and actually doing it, not just screwing around on the internet, throwing a bunch of stuff and hoping for 300,000 likes or something.
Is there any projects that you're working on now that you'd like me to plug throughout this interview?
What I'd like you to plug is my studio. After I've been, I pretty much, there was a lot of people tell me, you're living your dream right now, you own your studio now. That's a new dream of mine, to own a studio. The old dream was to work in every single room that I ever heard of, or even hadn't heard of, but the greatest studios in the world. And I pretty much did that. I went to Electric Ladyland, Record Plant, Hit Factory, in Miami. Pretty much all the big ones, the big guys, even over at Air Studio in London. All the big guys, Maybe not Abbey Road, the place I hadn't been. But, that was a dream of mine. And I kind of, fulfilled a lot of that. And that was very satisfying. But then I wanted to build my own studio, And what I did was take from all those studios that I liked, all the classic gear and the classic equipment that I made all those albums on. That's how I like to work. I like that analog sound, even mixed in with the digital sound of Pro Tools and everything. But I like to do like a a fusion of those. So I bought an SSL, an old one, 1987 console, and I put it in my studio. And it's the same George Ochsberger custom monitors that I mixed on all those records on. They're like really my favorite. The only speakers I really mix on. And I put those in a room in Burbank that I call Dave Aron's Hollywood Way Studios. And I wanted to just recreate what I like, and kind of update it also. And that's where I'm making my records now. And, and also it's a commercial facility. I rent it out to people. Right now, YG is in there making his album. And, we've had a couple good people in there. Quick was in there just a few weeks ago. So we get names. L.T. Hutton came in and did some stuff with Deshaun Jackson, who's making an album right now from the Eagles, and of course has plenty budget to make it with. So he's his own record company. So that works, and that's what I'm doing right now. I got a couple different people who, like to come in. I either use a studio or we work together, and that's what I'm doing right now is I have my Hollywood Way Studios in Burbank, California with the SSL in it. I got 3 other rooms in there, and one's a little pre-production room, one's another vocal tracking room and mixing room, whatever, and, that's what I'm putting I'm putting my eggs in that basket right now.
Needless to say, if you want top-notch production and one of the best studios in Hollywood, to come to that studio, right?
There it is. Needless to say, you got to get over there, at least check it out, do one project at least, just to say you did it, because it's going to be awesome.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
Whatever, shut up.